It is July, a few days into July by now, and I haven't told you what I'm reading this month, so here's my July TBR. So before we go too far, I did roll dice this month, but I'm honestly just not really feeling this anymore, so I will hopefully be coming up with, I just want to make a better board. I want to go back to a board to move my characters on and some prompts. I really liked the prompts more, but I do have some good books on the list. So here we go. First up, I'm going to be reading another Becky Chambers book, and that is Record of a Spaceborne Few. It's the third book in the Wayfinder series. I loved book number 1. Book number 2 was really good, so I have high hopes for this book here. From what I know, this follows all new characters again. You follow fleets, which are all the humans that fled Earth and decided to stay on kind of the spaceship that initially left Earth. So they have their traditions. It's a lot about traditions as far as I can tell. After that, I drew one of my kids' books. This is The Ugly Princess and the Wise Fool. It plays on all of the classic tropes, but with its own twist, obviously. I know there's a princess who makes a wish to be more beautiful, and I have a feeling that does not go quite the way they plan. So it should be a quick read, and hopefully one that will stay on my shelves. Book number 3 this month is going to be a graphic novel, and that is Never Open It, the Taboo Trilogy. So these are based on 3 Japanese folk tales and talk about different taboos. I know the first one has to do with a box that is not supposed to be opened, hence the art on the fronts. I really like the art. Okay, book number 4 I am probably most excited about on this list, and that is Harrow the Ninth. I listened to Gideon the Ninth on audiobook and fell in love with the characters. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel switching from audiobook to physical book, because I feel like one of the big draws for that was the narrator used really good voices, and I'm going to miss that. I've heard that this one is very, very different. That always, gives me pause, middle book syndrome. But I also just really, really loved the story that was told in the first book and the sarcasm that Gideon had. So if I get either of those 2 things to continue on into the second book, I will be a happy girl. Okay, next up I have The Other Remembrance. This is by Alex Connor. This is not one of my books. This is one of my boyfriend's books. We've integrated all of our books and I want to read them. So this has to do with an art dealer who thinks he has another Remembrant painting. Remembrant? That's really hard to say. He gets murdered for it. So his son is on a quest not only to kind of solve his murder, but also the mystery of this other painting. I feel like the murder aspect of this book could be intriguing, but I don't know that the rest of the plot will be enough to really hold my attention. I feel like this could potentially be a DNF, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm following that up with another book that I read on audiobook first, Bloody Rose. So it'll be another switch. I think this one will be a little bit easier because it follows a whole different set of characters from what I understand. The first book follows a band of older adventurers, and this one follows one of their daughters. Beautiful art. I was going to read it as part of my readathon last month, but didn't quite get to it, so I was happy that it immediately got pulled into my next TBR because I absolutely loved Kings of the Wild. It is probably my top book of the year so far. Very excited for this book. Okay, we have 2 more physical books and then 2 audiobooks. So, Wheel of Time number 9. Get excited. I am getting closer, over halfway through this series, getting closer to the end. I got a whole new set of tabs for this book. So I am mentally and physically, emotionally prepared. This one is pretty short, actually. I think it's less than 600 pages. which is a blessing. I feel like a lot of series start small and get bigger. This one started with like 1,000-page book, and now we're down to 600. I don't know how it finishes off, though. It could be that the last book is like 1,000 again. I don't know. But I am ready to knock this one off my list. I feel like I said all that and it made it sound like I am slugging through this, but I do really enjoy reading all of these. And lastly, for physical books will be another graphic novel, and that is The Crystal Kingdom. This is book number 4 in, I don't really know I don't know if this series has a name, but it's book number 4 in the Adventure Zone podcast recreation of their D&D game into graphic novels. This is from the McElroy Brothers podcast, and I highly recommend their podcast. I highly recommend the graphic novels, especially if you like D&D. They are just fun, and the growth, if you like character growth, you will not find it more than in this podcast. The graphic novels doesn't quite show it the same, but we're still coming around. I feel like this is about halfway through what would be the series. Okay, so the 2 audiobooks that I will be listening to are Leviathan Wakes, the first book in the Expanse series. I was a little bit nervous to start this. I have 12 audiobooks right now on my wish list. So I just had my boyfriend pick a random number, and this was the one I landed on. I had originally thought I would wait till I got done with Wheel of Time, because they're both just monstrous series. But I also feel like, why not just go into it? I don't know why I act like I finish series regularly and it makes sense to finish one before the other, because that's really just not how I do things. So time to stop putting it off. I'm listening to Leviathan Wakes. If I get done with that, because I do have some driving to do, if I get done with that, I'm going to start Winterkeep, which is book 4 in the Graceling series. Books 1, 2, and 3 came out like when I was in high school and college. And so there has been a long pause before this latest book came out. And so I bought the audiobook and then also ended up getting the physical copy just to complete my collection. And then I realized that the copy that I got has a totally different cover, and a prettier cover. So I may slowly switch my old books for the new books, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So holding them all up, we have this stack along with 2 audiobooks and 1 ebook that I need to get from the library. I've been watching a lot of July TBR videos. Actually, I'm a little bit behind my watch list, so I'm watching June TBR videos. But regardless, I love seeing what people are reading. So please let me know what you're reading down below, and I will see y'all. Bye.